What's up everyone, Bren here, and I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this Riki gameplay guide because he's actually quite a powerful hero. So just to be clear to anyone that's new, in these videos I try to do my best to both demonstrate and discuss the ins and outs of playing here to take advantage of their skill sets. Riki is known mostly for being a pub sniper who dominates the 2 to 4k MMR range, but in my opinion he's actually a pretty good hero even at higher level games. He definitely can be shut down, and he's more likely to be shut down in higher level games because his laning is pretty bad, to be honest. One thing to note about this hero is he has pretty low base damage if he's attacking creeps from in front, and just this low base damage means that it's hard to trade with heroes. He's very slow with 290 movement speed. His health pool isn't that great. So this is a type of hero where you actually do need to have a pretty decent lane to start with. That's why I do recommend taking him to the safe lane, or going off lane with another hero. Now I'm doing something right here. As I'm doing something really important right there, I'm spam clicking my right click and spam clicking my hold position. So that way I can constantly be throwing out my right clicks to get the rune, but at the same time not breaking invisibility right away. Meaning that the enemy team obviously they can't hit me, but I still have a very high chance of getting the rune. Now I'm going to be going off lane with Windrunner, and Windrunner is actually a very strong zoning support in my opinion. Very underrated. Windrunner has a very strong attack animation with very little backswing. Can kind of move in and out between heroes. Decent turn rate, but so to get started, guys, for my item build, the most common item build is going to be just rushing a poor man's shield at level 1 with your tangos. But the build that I went for is actually, I started with a stout shield, 1 set of tangos, and 2 branches, and a slipper. And what this build allows me to do, essentially, is it's just better for the mere fact that you get the additional stats from the branches while being able to upgrade your stout shield into a poor man's shield by buying 1 agility slipper from the side shop. So essentially the poor man's shield start is going to be better for the first 30 seconds of laning or so, but this build will surpass it after you've gotten 1 creep kill and some trap gold. And in this case I got the bounty rune. Now, so look at this lane, guys. In pub games it's going to be very common to see a weak laner like Alchemist in this game, and like greedy supports like the Pudge, or carries that you're going to be laning against like Spectre, Anti-Mage, those type of carries that are pretty weak in lane. But imagine if I was solo. If I was solo, the Pudge would actually be able to solo zone me out of the lane with both rot and threat of the Alchemist throwing out his concoction. But since I'm going offlane with a dual lane, I'm actually able to abuse that fact and able to get a lot of farm, because essentially they can't really go on me with the Windrunner throwing out auto attacks. So even though this hero is very bad, or Riki is very bad in terms of actually throwing out auto attacks on the enemy heroes, he doesn't offer anything in terms of harass. And I'm getting gone on right here. I'm getting zoned out. So yeah, Pudge threw down a sentry, and this is what I was talking about, guys. If you solo the offlane like I see sometimes in pubs, you will absolutely get nothing. This hero cannot jungle, and this hero has no way to pull the lane back. So I recommend putting him in the offlane with a dual lane, in this case like I've been talking about, a Windrunner, or in the safe lane. He's actually really good safe lane solo because you can abuse crit and your HP regen. So we missed a shackle right there, but it's not too big of a deal. I have my Orb Venom. I'm going on him. He's being slowed by the orb, and Windrunner did a really good job of blocking him right there. I have tree armor, so I'm in no risk of dying. So really good blocks by Windrunner right there. Basically, the mistake of missing the shackle, he made up for it by just getting off really good blocks. So really good play by him. And at this point, we kind of have the lane to ourselves. Yeah, let's put on CS here. Yeah. So we have the lane to ourselves. After I get my poor man's shield, I obviously go into my Boots of Speed and my Orb of Venom. Very good laning items. This hero has pretty good regen with permanent invisibility. And I'd say if you really want to go for it, guys, you can go for 2 points in permanent invisibility, meaning you take your second point of permanent invisibility at level 3, because that'll give you a lot more regen. It only increases the regen by 1, but it decreases the fade delay, meaning you start regening a lot faster in between killing creeps and denies. But yeah, so Windrunner's doing a pretty good job just zoning the Alchemist off the lane. Pudges can't really do too much against us. If Pudge shows himself, basically one shackle and I throw down like my cloud and I auto attack him, they can't do anything. And the nice thing about Riki as well is he has very high armor, and he has a lot of physical damage, and he has smoke screen, which basically gives enemy carries mischance, and this usually means that they can't use their escape abilities. So this is another reason why Riki is really good in like the 2 to 4k MMR range, because a lot of people pick a lot of carries, a lot of physical damage cores. So this here is really good for both his high armor and smoke screen miss, on top of just his silence. Now they did the smart thing of transitioning into basically like a tri-lane up here with the roaming Mirana, meaning I can't really get too much farm in this lane anymore. And as you guys can see, my team is actually losing out pretty heavily. It's 1-4 right now. I basically have the only kill. Yeah, Brood is dominating bot. And yeah, it's gonna be one of those Brood games that's gonna be really rough. Lifestealer can't do anything against Brood bottom, but we have the lane pushing in now. I'm not showing myself, as you guys can see, because if I go up there and Alchemist manages to throw out a stun on me, and then Pudge manages to go up and get a rod on me into like a Mirana air or something like that, I will be dead. So I need to be playing it safe. In that situation, it pushed into my tower either way, so I didn't miss. I missed like 1 CS there maybe. So yeah, when you know that the wave is pushing into you, just play back, play it cool. It's gonna be pushing into your tower anyways, and at that point you can start getting your farm. So Lifestealer's dead, but we do get a kill on Brood, which is really important. Now we're just looking around the area, seeing what we can do. Alchemist is getting his farm in now just because the lane is pushed. They've been doing pulling. We don't have a ward on their pull. I mean, it's not a big deal that we don't. But the thing is, we can't play aggressively knowing that the Mirana is missing. If the Mirana is missing, we do have to be playing back by a little bit. But as you guys can see, Mirana showed herself on bottom, which means that we have a little bit more room to do whatever we want. But Alchemist throws down basically just like a zoning acid. Yeah, meaning I can't deny him. I can't throw auto attacks on him. Pretty smart play, to be honest. Now the lane is once again pushing into me. As you guys can see, I'm always making sure that I'm attacking it from the back, just to ensure that I always get the last hits. With nobody really contesting me, I shouldn't be missing them either way, but if I'm attacking them from the back, I just have so much more damage that I really shouldn't be missing them. Pudge just like casually walks out of the jungle, tries to get a rod on me. If Pudge managed to get a rod on me, I might have died there. And he misses that hook as well. So I guess nice try by him, but yeah, there's not too much they can really do in this lane. It's actually a pretty big mistake that Mirana is just showing herself bottom. Even though they just got that tower. Ideally, if Mirana wasn't showing himself bottom at our tier 2, I would actually have to play a lot more defensively, but we're able to play up in the lane a little bit. I'm at 37 CS, which is pretty good. Alka is farming okay. He's at 26, but he does have Creep's Greed, meaning that he is farming, meaning that creeps do mean a lot more for him. So I'd say I'm just slightly ahead in terms of that. But Alchemist is a hero that needs to be ahead. So I guess his CS is pretty low, but we get a shackle right there. And as you guys can see just the power of my level 3 crit coming into play, and just, oh my god, this damage. Both Pudge and Alchemist have really low armor. And yeah, just using my blink strike, auto attacking in between my blink strikes. We managed to get those kills. So nice shackle into the smoke screen. They couldn't really do too much there. Alchemist is basically just dead if he ever finds himself in that situation. And then you take a look at our bottom. Once again, guys, another game where Brood is just completely dominating. Managed to get both our towers early. Gonna be a really rough game. We basically don't have a Brood counter other than SF, like nuking down spiders. But SF doesn't always want to be down there. Now I'm going on the Alchemist. I thought I could have killed him. I kind of misplayed it a little bit. What I needed to do there was I actually needed to wait until his concoction got down a little bit lower, and then throw down my smoke screen, and hopefully like he stunned himself. But either way, it wasn't like a kill that I was going to be getting realistically. But so on this here, guys, I'd say almost always go for Ring of Aquila. It's the most efficient source of damage in terms of its cost that you can get in an early game. And you might be saying, okay, well, you don't really need the armor or the mana regen that much on this hero, but you actually do. I've played this hero quite a bit recently, and even though you have low mana costing spells, this hero only has 1.3 intelligence gain, so not much base mana, not much base mana regen. The Ring of Aquila is really nice for the damage and the mana you get. And obviously the armor is just a bonus. It's also just really nice. So just farming it up now. I kind of have semi-lane dominance. Yeah, I do need to be playing in the back a little bit, just because nobody on my team is near me. So if I do get like rotted into an alchemist stone, as I've been talking about, I will die. So I'm not showing I'm not showing in lane. Just playing back, playing it safe. So there's on another sentry right there. I'm not entirely sure that it's there at this point. But yeah, and guys, okay, so we get a 6 shackle right there. Oh my god, that was so sick. And I actually messed up by not throwing down my silence right away. And now Pudge is basically doing the smart thing. He knows that if he keeps running, I'm going to be doing a lot more damage to his back anyway. So what he has to do is, in these type of cases against Riki, is you actually just want to be facing him. A lot of the times, if you know that you're going to be dying if you run, you might as well just face him. Maybe get like a return kill on him by reducing the amount of damage that he does. Because if I'm attacking him from the front, this hero doesn't do that much damage. A lot of it's coming from backstab. And this hero does a shit ton of damage, guys. Like a shit ton of damage. Oh my god, it's so much. Oh my god. Like, you start doing near 200 damage if you're hitting someone from the back in the early game. Yeah, it's really difficult for heroes like Alchemist with pretty low armor. And Pudge. Pudge has 1 armor, guys. Pudge has 1 goddamn armor. I'm basically doing near pure damage onto the Pudge. So yeah. And now for the next item that I'm going to be going into is basically just going to be the standard Diffusal Blade. I've tried other items. Like, but first of all, I'm going to be going on this Brood. He's diving really deep, which means that there's a high probability I can kill him. He got blocked a little bit by his spiders, so I managed to get that kill. If he was maybe a little, I don't know. He was probably dead either way there. He was just playing really aggressively because nobody's been around to punish him for the entire game, but I managed to just go down there, get a pretty quick kill off on him. There's an engagement going down mid. Not too much is happening. But onto the discussion of item build, guys. I would say almost always go for a Diffusal Blade on this hero as your first big item. I've tried SNY, and it's really not that great compared to the Diffusal Blade. The SNY, you'll miss a lot of kills that you otherwise wouldn't have. You know, the Diffusal Blade is cheaper than the SNY, even though you can get the Yasha quicker. The Diffusal Blade has a lot of utility in terms of not only being aggressive, but you can like purge off debuffs. Yeah, you can purge off debuffs from both yourself and your teammates, so you can use it in that fashion. Now we do have an engagement going on mid. Got a pretty good shackle down there, but there's this EMP, so I'll left started to play back. Get a really nice Treant ultimate. So I throw it on my silence. I'm going from target to target. Managed to get him mid-air. As you guys can see, when you guys are playing this hero and you do initiate on somebody with your blink strike, what you want to be doing is blink striking on them and then getting off an auto attack, and then immediately using another blink strike into another auto attack. This cuts down the actual distance you have to move in between your auto attacks. So even if the hero isn't that fast, I'd still say to be doing that just to kill them as quickly as possible, just to reduce like the chance of them escaping or maybe turning on you. Yeah, basically by using your blink strikes in between every auto attack, you don't have to worry about the move distance that you otherwise would have. This hero is fairly slow. Even with the orb, I can't really hit people down or chase people down that well if I'm not using my blink strike or if they're not in my cloud. Now I do have my diffusal now, and this is basically when the hero's like a real style of play starts to come in, and this is why this hero is kind of notorious for being a pub stomper. Because basically this hero was just off map, basically roaming and just looking for kills the entire game, and that's kind of the way that you want to be playing this hero. There's a few issues with this hero which I'm going to be talking about, but first I'm going on the Alchemist. He's kind of defenseless without his ultimate on, but he does have an armlet, which I really think is a really good build. I'm actually kind of amazed that he went armlet on Alchemist. I very rarely see that. it's going to be a really good item against me this game, which means like because I simply can't kill him with my Diffusal Blade in the Smokescreen combo currently. Not until I get much bigger, and if he falls behind. So good item choice by Alchemist there, but the issues with this hero, if you want to play him in more like a farm efficient, more controlled style like I do with the other heroes and the other heroes that I've covered on my channel, is you can't really play like a more map control style in this hero, because if you're showing yourself in lane, it just gives the enemy team so much more space to work with, because first of all, as I've been talking about, this hero is very immobile. You don't have any, like, you're not like anti-mage where you have a blink. You don't move fast until you get like a Yasha, and even then you're kind of slow. So pretty simple kill on the Pudge here. Not much you can do at this stage. I do get an arrow from the Mirana, and I'm going to be throwing down my smoke screen just so it makes them miss, and I would get a really good smoke cloud on top, which means that Mirana cannot escape. We can go on the Alchemist, but he has his armlet. But I do have my team coming, so hopefully we can get some kills right here. Yeah, we managed to get the Alchemist, so that's really important. And oh my god, such a sick shackle right there. Yeah, really well-timed shackle by Windrunner. Yeah, so back to the discussion about the issues with this hero. You can't play him in a very map control style, because he can't farm the lane and then do like efficient jungle rotations, because honestly he farms really slowly if you're hitting creeps from the front. So like he's not like a split push hero by any means. I mean, you can play him like that if that's what the game calls for, but he's best played off map, trying not to be shown in lane too much, unless you really do need to deep push a lane. If you're like really far behind, the most efficient way to play him is definitely going to be just looking for kills, making sure the enemy team has a 5-man towers. And okay, if the enemy team does start 5-manning towers, that's when you can start being aggressive in lane and just farming lane creeps and pushing the lane out. But if they are not 5-manning and they are staying split, you want to be playing the more like notorious pub style of Riki, where you're just completely running around the map. I don't want to say like an idiot, but that's kind of like the way. That's kind of like the play style of this hero, and that's why a lot of lower level players I've talked to kind of hate this hero. You kind of just run around and kill people. Yeah, so that's basically this hero. Yeah, so those are his two problems. Oh, the other problem. Well, I get the dust on Brood. He can't really escape, so he auto-attacks me to maybe get like his mischance on me, but to no avail. I end up killing him anyways. I've seen the Invoker, but not entirely sure if we're able to get him. He's running through mid. Well, he's going on. He uses both his spells on the Windrunner, so maybe he expected me to be back. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going on him, using my Diffusal Blade, and then immediately throwing down my smoke screen. I actually messed up on that Mirana kill. Okay, I guess I didn't mess up on him too badly, but still, I should have Blink Striked on him earlier, just so I could kill him faster in case like the Alchemist was nearby. Because obviously, if you can kill one hero faster, it's much easier to take fights because there's less heroes you have to deal with, obviously. But the other issue with this hero is he can carry if the situation calls for it, but you never want this hero to be your primary carry, just due to the fact that he just doesn't do much damage if the enemy team has a carry that can man up on you. Once he gets like a BKB and he can stand in your smoke cloud, because basically your blink strikes are limited. There's a limit on how many blink strikes you can get off in a fight. So like, yeah, you can get like 4 blink strikes on the carry that's like manning up on you with the BKB, but at the same time, if they're able to live through that and they have like items like Bashers, like Scotties, it's like big items like those, they'll be able to beat you pretty easily, because if you aren't hitting someone from the back, you're not using any of your scaling abilities. The only ability that really scales really well in terms of like a carry sense is his crit. So you want to be playing a more roaming style once you get your Diffusal Blade. Obviously, pre-Diffusal Blade, you can be sitting in lane and just farming more. But once you get your Diffusal Blade, you want to be roaming around, essentially, and just creating space for your team. Yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. I'm sorry if that was kind of unorganized. But yeah, so this hero is like pretty strong in that fashion. I actually played a solo queue game of him earlier, and I don't know. He does this hero he does pretty good in high level games, to be totally honest. I know some players that have gotten near 7K with just spamming this hero, so like he's not just like a low level pub stopper by any means. He's incredibly strong in terms of the damage he does. If you know how to lane him correctly, then you can use him. Obviously, laning him is very important. If this hero gets a bad lane, he can easily just fall behind and be useless for the rest of the game. You need to be putting him in a decent lane, guys. So I would never first pick this hero. I would only pick this hero if I know that I'm going to have a good lane support, and I have an actual lane, a good lane that I can go to. Yeah, so this hero is a little bit situational in that sense. He's much stronger as like a last pick. Yeah, but Smoke Screen is such a strong fucking ability, guys. This ability is so strong throughout the entire game. Has a very large radius. The miss rate is very strong. The silence is great, and it can fall off in the mid game once BKBs do start coming out, but then it gets stronger in the late game once BKB duration start to go down in duration. So it ramps back up. It's a very strong ability. A lot of people kind of say it's like the best non-ultimate ability in the game, and I've been playing Riki quite a bit recently in preparation for this video, and I would say that I'd have to agree on that. Now Pudge is basically, he's defenseless. He does the smart thing and ults me immediately. Like this Pudge, this Pudge hasn't made too many mistakes, but there's just not too much you can do. This hero just counters him really hard if you ever do get an advantage. Like, imagine if I was solo top, guys. If I was solo top in this game, I would have been solo zoned out by both the Pudge, Rot, just running up and rotting me, and just the threat of the Alchemist stuns. And this game probably would have been lost because we wouldn't have had like a Brood counter. Like, imagine if I was solo top and like Windrunner was bottom, supporting like Nakes. It wouldn't have mattered. Brood still would have just shit on bottom. So yeah, a good laning support is very important on this hero. Or just a good lane in general. Like you can lane this hero 1v1. It's not a big deal. It's just if you put him 1v1, or as a solo, I should say, it should be in the safe lane. He can mid lane versus some heroes. He's actually pretty good mid versus Invoker 1v1. But yeah. No. This is a pretty easy fight. We're just so far ahead at this point. But I do want to be discussing some of these items. I mean, this game isn't completely over, but it's looking pretty grim. We do have the better late game heroes. Even though I've been talking about how Riki isn't like a hard carry, he does scale really well with items. The issue is just he can't farm the items. He's just better as a space creating hero. That's basically it. Alchemist needed to come online a lot stronger. I mean, he went for an okay build. The armor at first I definitely agreed with, but we just pushed our advantage too much. And I like going for the S and Y after my Diffusal Blade if I'm completely stomping like I did in this game. But I would say the more standard and a lot more safer, the more safe build would have been the BKB, and that's kind of the build I would recommend normally. But I was doing so well that with the S and Y I can move in and out between locations. It solves this hero's lack of movement speed, gives him some mobility to run around the map. I definitely think this item is important. So that's actually kind of a big deal that Treant just died there, because we actually really need the Treant abilities to protect our tower. So if they go for a tower push here, they should be able to get it. I am kind of low on both mana and HP. Yeah. So I need to go heal to maybe defend the tower, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to. And one of the really nice things about BKB with a Diffusal Blade is you basically have all you need to just jump in the fight, create a lot of space, maybe get like a pick off with your BKB on, and start the fight off like 5v4 a lot of the time. So this hero is very strong with a BKB. Just decided not to get it after my Diffusal Blade because I was snowballing so hard. You definitely, like, on this hero, it's really important, the item builds that you go for, because this hero doesn't farm that much gold. So if the enemy team does start getting ahead, like, you won't be able to farm like a BKB really quickly. So if I went for this S and Y, in a game where I was really far behind, or my team was far behind, and they did go for like a 5-man push. Okay, so I did get caught out here really sillily or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, so a really silly death right there by me. That's actually a lot of gold to them. Holy shit. But if I went for a SNY in a game where my team was doing really badly and we were getting pushed on very hard, this hero doesn't farm fast enough to actually get up that BKB in case they go for like a Rax push. So this isn't like a type of hero like an anti-mage. You can just blink around to the side of the map and just farm up BKB in like 5 minutes and be prepared for those type of pushes. This hero really needs to have correct itemization. And that's why I'd say the Diffusal Blade into the BKB is almost always going to be the safest route. Yeah, that's definitely how I look at it. If you disagree, you can let me know in the comment section. I always like having those type of discussions, but I think the BKB is definitely really safe on this hero. So we do have a fight breaking out. This is not a very good fight. Pudge uses his ultimate through the rage. I'm just looking around the map. So Lester's getting gone on. TP top. Hopefully I can help him out. He's toggling with his armlet. Tree and armor on him now. He went inside me for the infest. He uses the infest bomb correctly right there to do the damage. So pretty good play by Lifestealer. Pretty smart play. I just infested him right there. And he left immediately because he knew that there was no chance of dying. So he actually helped me get that damage to secure both of the kills. But yeah, I leveled up my Diffusal Blade now to level 2. It increases agility by quite a lot. 20 to 35 is actually really huge for this hero because of how crit scales. This crit, obviously, just for anyone that doesn't know, this is only based on your agility. So you don't want to be going for like Daedalus on this hero. You want to be going for stat items. And the huge benefit about going for stat items on this hero is because they're essentially really good offensive items for giving you a lot of damage, but at the same time you can go for like a Scotty or a Butterfly and they give you a lot of defensive capabilities. So this hero is really strong for that reason. Just bigger items are very strong on him. Honestly, he scales really, really well with Backstab. And just out of the fact that you can be going for like items like Scotty and have those be your DPS items. It's actually really scary on this hero. So I'm pushing out the lane right here. There's really not too much happening. Just playing the map. They're just staying S5 at this point, so I can't like be solo roaming around and looking for kills. I do not have my BKB though, so if they do go for a Rax push, if they go for a Rax push at this time, that would actually be the best option for them. Chances are they probably see my items on the side and they were like, okay, no BKB on Riki. Let's go try and take this Rax. My team is able to defend. Alchemist wasn't there. Alchemist ports into me. There's the fight breaking out. I'm definitely going to be going and trying to join this fight, catch the tail end of it. Maybe I can get a pick. So yeah, I throw it on my Diffusal Blade and then immediately lay down my smoke screen. Okay, I want to be talking about how to use your smoke screen with your Diffusal Blade as well. So the best way, the most optimal way to use your smoke screen and your Diffusal Blade combination is by throwing down your smoke screen right in the direction where they're heading. So by the time the smoke screen cast animation is through, they're kind of like in the middle of the smoke screen, or they're only like a third of the way through it, and they still have to run through a lot of it, and then you immediately diffusal. But if you are chasing them from like pretty far behind, I would say you want to use Diffusal Blade first, and then use your smoke screen right on top of them. So there's 2 different ways you can use them. I think those are the most optimal ways. I'm not entirely sure, to be totally honest with you guys. I haven't played enough games on this hero to actually comment on that, but we're going for this base push. At this point, we have AC. No, we don't have AC, but we do have Mech. And Alchemist is AC, which is a really good item against our team, but it's not enough. And we're just pushing into the racks at this point. Not entirely sure what they can really do. Maybe they can get some kills right here. Nope, no kills whatsoever. But yeah, guys, so I really wanted to show this game because This is kind of like a weird hero where like this is the type of hero where if you do have like a really bad start, it's really hard to come back with. So basically the type of start that you want to be having is you want to be going into a lane where you can actually get your items up, get some levels is actually really important on this hero. You can actually have like semi-mediocre farm in lane, but as long as you have some levels, you can start going around the map with just like treads and Orb Venom and get yourself a lot of like a huge injection of gold. But I have respawned. We've taken the racks. It's looking pretty grim for them right now, but it's always possible to win, especially with like items like AC. If they manage to get like an Aegis on Alchemist and they manage to wipe us, they can win. Yeah, but it's just looking completely rough. With Treant as well, Treant is going to make it really hard for them to win because Treant can heal our buildings. So if they go for like some base push and like get our tower like the halfway, or maybe they kill our tower and then take like our racks, Treant can still heal it up, and I can still like split push the side of a map. Obviously that's going to be the case if like our team gets picked. Ideally, I'd want to be fighting with our team as much as possible. I'm getting EMP'd right here, but I'm popping my BKB, guys. This is really just the power of the BKB. Pop my BKB just to survive. BKB in conjunction with your Blink Strike gives you a lot of mobility. Get the magic immunity really strong. I throw down a pretty decent smoke from the back. Managed to get some heroes. They're obviously fighting in it, which is really just bad. Alchemist was missing a lot of his attacks right there. Yeah, Alchemist died really quickly. Oh my god, yeah. So that's basically the game, guys. I'm going to be ending it here. Thanks for watching. Hopefully someone found this useful. Shout out to Bombo. He really wanted me to do this video because he's kind of wondering how the hell do I get out of like the bracket he's in. So yeah, hopefully you guys find this useful. If you did, remember to like the video, and if you're new to this channel, then go ahead and subscribe. Thanks, guys. See you later.